snazzy pajamas Cisco just walked in on. I'm so sad this is not video right now.
This is why we don't do live or video, ever. Ever. Welcome to the edge of nowhere. Everybody, and welcome to this very special summer vacation 53rd episode of the Monster Lore Tour Paranormal Deep Dives from the Edge of Nowhere podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Carr, here along with my co-host and the planchette to my Ouija board,
Dang.
Mr. Matt O0, aka the Moz. How are we doing today, Moz?
So I'm the map and you're the territory. Wait, I got to think about this.
You translate me.
Wow.
Or you are the medium through which my message runs.
Wow. It's kind of leaking out of the garage door right now, but okay.
Yeah, it's a little leaky. It's definitely a little leaky. Yeah. Anywho, we are here today with another interview episode. That's 2 weeks in a row with interviews. And you might be like, what are these guys doing? They don't do interviews 2 weeks in a row. Well, we do when we're on summer vacation, don't we, Maz?
Yep. That's the new thing.
Yeah, we're taking it easy. We're not doing old business. We're not doing deep dives for the moment, but we are bringing you an interview that we actually recorded quite some time ago, like early in season 1. But it was kind of our secret weapon, if you were, the keeping it in our pocket for a rainy day interview. But now that season 1 has run its course and we never ran out of other interviews to use, we're now going to finally bring you our Cisco interview, friend of the podcast, Cisco, which we may have mentioned in passing a few times here and there throughout season 1. This is actually one of my favorite interviews we did, honestly, Moz. So I'm really glad we're finally airing it, you know?
Yeah.
But we got some Ouija board, we got some demon dog, or whatever you might want to call it. But
we're Wolf of the East.
The Wolf of the East, as Moz likes to put it in a more technical fashion. But we're going to get into the whole dissection of the thing in the closing segment on the other side of the interview. So for now, we're just going to jump right in. Here is our interview with Cisco.
So we started just by having a little conversation about some things that you've said that you've experienced that were not typical. And when we first discussed a little bit of this, it seemed like it was a little deeper than we thought. Initially, Cisco was very, oh yeah, sure, I got a story. But then you told us a little bit more about it, and we're like, we have to do an episode. So you gave us a little teaser. It does seem a little bit deeper and darker and stranger than maybe we initially envisioned. But where would you like to begin with some of the strangeness?
I'm not sure where to begin.
I always say if you're not sure where to start, I'd go chronologically. What's the first one of these things that happened?
I guess that would be when I was a kid, and we used to hang out with the neighbors a lot. And one day, somebody had bought them a Milton Bradley Ouija board.
Oh boy, here we go.
You kids out there, stick to Yahtzee.
Still can't believe they sell it as a game.
It's a game, right? And we started playing with this Ouija board and talking to spirits or whatever it is that you are supposedly communicating with. I always assumed it was just your friends moving it.
Right? Everybody thinks it's everybody else doing it.
Yeah, trying to freak you out like everybody else does. And so we did that for a while, and I can't say anything about it was like too exciting or anything, or too weird. I remember my friends wanted to borrow the board, or did they get their own board? I don't remember. It was so long ago. I mean, I was like 14, 15 years old.
So some of them really liked it and like took to it, wanted to keep using it.
Right. And these were different friends. And one night they were playing with the Ouija board, and apparently it started asking for me because I wasn't there. You know, it was kind of late at night. It was after dark. It was after I was supposed to be doing anything, and they called me.
So this is the same board that you were using before.
We had used it before.
And then it's
sure.
asking for you specifically later on, and you're not even there.
Yeah. And
that's one of the creepier Ouija board things I've ever heard.
And for whatever reason, my friends thought it was weird enough that they felt the need to call me. And like an idiot, I snuck out of the house because I did that a lot when I was a kid. And I went over to my friend's house to answer the Ouija board, I guess. Which now in hindsight seems like a really bad idea.
I would have run the other way myself.
And to be honest, I don't remember exactly what all happened. All I remember is that we were very freaked out.
So when you got over there, you actually got on the board?
Yeah.
And
we started playing with it. And I don't remember exactly what happened. All I remember is that we didn't want to play with it anymore.
You blocked it out in a way. Do you feel like you just blocked?
It's possible, because, I don't remember exactly what happened. All I know is that after that night...
it was Yahtzee from there on out.
We actually destroyed that Ouija board.
Wow.
Really, with fire?
With fire.
Wow. Well done. Well done. What happened after that? That you said there was more after that? Did something follow you home?
But yeah, so I did end up walking home by myself, of course. It was probably like a mile walk, at least. And definitely on the walk home, I felt a presence. I kept hearing things in the trees, leaves rustling. There was no wind.
So right away, you were having this, right away.
No, I think that whatever we were messing with
followed you home.
Followed me home.
It was asking for you, and then it attached to you.
Yeah, it actually followed me home.
Wow.
And I remember we no longer liked the Ouija board, and we threw away the neighbor's Ouija board as well.
Right.
Because we told them what had happened. They didn't want to play with it anymore either.
Right.
And it kept reappearing back at the house.
Wait, what?
What? Did they burn it, or did they just throw it away?
This is like the puppet that keeps showing back
No,
up.
this was my neighbor's Ouija board. It wasn't the same one.
Right.
My friends had bought a Ouija board because we had been playing with it, but I had played with both of them. And so we threw that one away, and it kept reappearing, and my dad didn't like that. He said he threw it away again, and he claimed he went and asked the neighbor, because it was theirs. He asked their mom, if she kept bringing it back, and she didn't really respond, but she told it that he should destroy it.
Do you know how many times you would say you threw the Ouija board out? Now, this may be a better question for your father. It seems like he's the one who quarterbacked this.
Right.
But how many times do you think it returned to the house?
At least twice. I don't know.
Wow.
That's why, everybody, you need to burn your Ouija board and not just throw it away.
So he ended up burning that Ouija board.
Good.
And I think after the fact, I learned that my friends also burnt their Ouija board.
Wow.
So he ended up totally destroying both of these Ouija boards.
That's the way to do
Smart. Break the gate.
But unfortunately, whatever had followed me home was still there. And my grandmother, she was very religious and she was very sensitive to such things. And actually, there was a time,
Catholic religious, yeah.
and before she was religious, before she became Catholic, I guess she was more spiritual and more, not sure what to call it, but she used to...
More meta than religious.
Right, and she used to light candles for the spirits, like I think on the first day of every month. And when she started going to church and she learned that was wrong, she stopped doing it. And she would wake up around the first of every month with the spirits tugging at her feet because she wasn't lighting candles for them anymore.
Wow. Like literally pulling on her legs and stuff when she was in bed?
Yeah. Like, you have to understand, my grandmother was incredibly religious.
I had one of those grandmas too.
Yeah, religious enough for all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always had to go to church on Sunday when she was around, you know.
And she started complaining about her presence at the house. And she was no longer Catholic at that time, but she told my dad to get a Catholic priest and do an exorcism at the house.
Wow.
Was this related to both the Ouija stuff and the lighting of the candle? Is there any correlation?
No, because the lighting of the candles, that had been when she was younger.
Gotcha.
I'm just trying to, make you understand that my grandma was very sensitive
her perspective
to such things, and she was the one that was complaining about it. And my dad had been noticing things at the house that were making him uneasy. He claimed that the television in my grandmother's room would turn on by itself. And he said that it happened several times, and he got tired of it happening, and he unplugged the TV. And he claims that the TV came back on.
Wow.
Unplugged. Yeah.
That's straight out of Poltergeist or something.
it was
That's a
Poltergeist.
movie thing.
I did not
that's real life
witness
movie
that,
scene.
but to this day, he still claims that happened.
I've met your dad, and I get the feeling he's very no bullshit.
Oh no, he I had this conversation with my sister. We were talking some family stuff, and I reminded her that my dad has never lied to us.
Yeah.
Wow.
So why would he start there?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, so that's crazy. So an unplugged TV turning itself on.
And so my dad went
Pulling on your grandma's legs. Are there any other...
my dad actually went and got a Catholic priest and had an exorcism done at our house over this.
You full on get a Ouija demon connected to you. Did
Right.
they do an exorcism on you or just the house?
Just the house.
Were you there for that?
No.
Did it still work?
Apparently so, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
The TV stopped. I think that whatever followed me home actually just came to our house, and our house had some weird vibes to it. We had a hallway that creeped us out as children. Mm-hmm. Like
just the hallway?
Yeah, and it wasn't a very big hallway, and for whatever reason, there was these ornamental axes left over from like when my parents bought the house.
Well, we can get as specific or not as specific as you want, but we are talking about the Southwest. Do you want to talk about the town, or should we leave that out?
Oh, I don't care. It's Yuma, Arizona.
Yuma, Arizona.
The hottest city in the world, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. It's not the hottest city in the world.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the sunniest city in the world.
There you go.
It feels like the hottest city in the world.
I saw this movie, 420 to Yuma. It's about two guys who get stoned and decide not to go to Yuma. Yeah.
It's a smart move. Smart move.
It sounds like a good ending to that movie.
Wow. That's quite the tale. I'm glad that them just exercising the house worked, and that means the demon wasn't so much connected directly to you. So that could have been a lot worse. Like if that demon would just got on you, you could have ended up possessed or something.
Well, it makes me rethink a lot of, the other things that happened to me.
Yeah, it'll do that. Well, how old were you with the Ouija board? Do you remember?
I would assume I was like 14 or 15.
Okay.
I mean, I was barely a teenager.
But you weren't like 6 or 7 years old. You were a teenager.
And I was still a good kid back then. We just were, we're just kids being dumb.
Sure, yeah. As kids will be.
And anyways, I mean, it's a game, right? It's Milton Bradley.
That's what kills me about it is like there really needs to at least be a warning label on that box or something.
Yeah.
It's really not a kid's game. Those things to be messing with.
No, and that's the way it's packaged, and
Same with Jumanji. I mean, that should come with a warning label.
Don't even get me started on when I played Jumanji, dude.
So yeah, I was remembering that years later, but when I wasn't so innocent anymore, and I had found myself on a.
So we're in your 20s now. That's when that.
No, I wasn't even. How old would I have been? No, I'm thinking I would have been around.
Blocking out Yuma.
Maybe that's what it is.
He doesn't want to remember this part.
The sun fried my brain. No, I was.
Yuma will do that to you.
Yeah. No, I think I had forgotten how young I was when I got on a bad path, but I think I was like 16 or 17.
So it's not long after the Ouija incident.
Yeah,
then.
just a few years.
Just a few years later. And but would you say the innocence was gone?
Right.
It wasn't exactly a good kid anymore. And misery loves company. And I just ended up hanging around bad circles and was not on a good road. And for whatever reason, it made I don't know what to call it, like a manifestation in my life. And animals were unhappy with me, especially dogs.
Uh-oh.
And
maybe that demon did stay with you.
Well, that's what you made me wonder. It's possible, but I mean, these path I was on had nothing to do. I mean, they were my own.
It could have been the reason you started down that path.
Right.
That's the sort of thing demons will do to you. They'll pull you apart slowly, so to speak.
You don't have to go in any details you don't want to. We're not a pressure bunch.
No. But I still disagree.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because it was I was really on a bad path, and what was happening wasn't outside influences.
But I'm saying, when you're saying a dark road, what details would you be comfortable talking about what that dark road was? I mean, and you don't have to.
Oh, I just on a bad path. I got into bad things.
Okay.
Drugs.
Okay.
I was, the person that I mentioned was my best friend growing up. He passed away very young.
Oh, that'll screw you up for a while.
And I didn't deal with it very well. So, I don't want to go into like the whole therapy thing.
Oh yeah. No. We're here for your weird stories, not your sad stories.
Exactly. That's what I meant by misery loves company. And for me, everybody around me, you can edit whatever you want. I don't really give a shit. So at the time, Yuma, Arizona was known as Tweakville.
Yeah.
We actually made High Times magazine.
Nice.
So it was everywhere. Like Yuma was like an awful place. You could smell people cooking it, like walking around. It was out of control. And this was like back when it was first starting to come up again, where it wasn't just like the biker thing. And it was everywhere. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the way my friends were acting. I was a pothead and they drank. And I kept saying no. But misery loves company, and I met this cute girl. And
there it is. There it is.
And we ended up back at her place, and I wanted to do all kinds of stuff.
I'll do whatever you want at that point. Yeah.
And unfortunately, she was also in a bad place, and she was slinging the stuff. I never paid a penny for it, but as you can imagine, it was always there, and there was a shit ton.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
It's the kind of stuff that people do. I actually was living at her house.
Just smoking meth all day, all the time.
Something like that. Yeah, we weren't smoking it, but yeah.
Oh, dude.
I never met her parents, and I was living at her parents'
I would
house.
assume not.
Dang.
It was the kind of nonsense. So, anyways, I was on a bad path, and it manifested itself in a strange way. And I wonder if that spirit manifested itself. Well, anyways, food for thought.
Yeah, those drugs definitely can unleash their own demons on you, no doubt.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That had nothing to do with like anything that came before. It was just things that happened in my life, and
A death.
I was a kid, and I didn't deal with it very well, and whatever. But back then, I used to walk around all the time. I was always on foot. Every once in a while, I was on a skateboard, but for the most part, I was on foot. And it was around that time where I was saying to you guys that the animals started to get upset with me, mostly dogs.
Right.
And but yeah, so I'd be walking around and dogs were just being strange around me on a constant basis. And the last time that I remember it happening was also the most intense time, if you will. And I was walking home. I don't know exactly from where, but it was the middle of the day, like the middle of the afternoon in Yuma, which means sunshine and blue skies. So, I mean, it doesn't get any less ominous than that.
Right. It doesn't get any brighter and out of the dark than that.
Nothing to be worried about. And I'm walking home, and I came around the corner to my street, and mind you, I was still like a block and a half away, and there was a dog down the way, just sitting there like he was waiting for me to come around the corner. And this dog was very far away. I mean, it was over a block away, but I noticed it right away, and it was just sitting there looking in my direction. I'm sitting on the sidewalk, and I tried not to think too much of it because it was so far away, and I kept walking home, getting closer to the dog, wondering, what it was going to do. It was just strange to me that I was just sitting on the sidewalk, staring in my direction. And I finally got within a couple houses from where I live, and I realized that the dog was actually sitting in front of my house waiting for me.
Oh, damn. He's so that whole time he was sitting right in front of your house.
Yeah, so the whole time, because he wasn't moving or anything. He was actually sitting. And, which is kind of strange for Yuma, but that's a whole other thing. And I got within a few houses, and I realized that the dog was in front of my house. And that kind of made me uneasy. I didn't know what to do. I kept walking forward, and all of a sudden the dog ran at me. And I remember running into my neighbor's yard, running around the car, and that's oddly enough all I remember. I don't remember exactly getting away from the dog or how I got in the house. I assumed that.
Really? You just remember starting to run, and you don't even remember how the chase ended?
No.
Wow, your brain just went into full instinct mode.
Yeah, I ran around the car. I'm assuming I ran into my house after he followed me around the car or something. I wasn't a dumb kid, and I would always outsmart the situation when it came up, if that made any sense.
Sure.
Or got really lucky.
But that's happened before. You don't remember the end of the Ouija game, and now you don't remember the end of the the dog incident.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I was a kid too, though.
In time it makes it hard. You remember the actual frightening moment, but you don't. Your brain deletes all the superfluous stuff around it, kind of thing.
Absolutely. And the last thing I remember on that whole incident was, and I'm not sure how much after that was. It could have been days or weeks. Was a dream that I had. And in this dream, I actually woke up in my bedroom, in my bed. And I stared out the window, and there was a wolf-like dog standing outside the window. And the window's like 3 feet off the ground. So I don't know what he was standing on.
Did it look like it was standing on its hind legs, or that it was like standing like a wolf and it was still that tall?
I never really thought about it. I felt like it was standing on all four legs, like it was standing on something.
That would be a huge wolf.
No, like it was standing on a table or something, but there was nothing back there.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's flying almost like
That
yeah. Well, I mean,
right, because it didn't look like it was standing on its hind legs. I could just see it through the window, and because then what happened next in my dream was that it actually jumped through the window.
oh shit.
Yeah, it came at me, and I remember the dog coming through the window and glass and pieces of wood all over the place, and that's when I woke up.
Wow.
And I decided that I didn't want to be on this path anymore.
So that's your turning point.
Yeah.
That's your turning point.
No.
So he was. I'm going to put this into Monster Lore Tour lingo for a minute, if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. So he was on the boundary. He was at the edge. And he could either keep going dark or going back into the light. In this portal, presenting itself as a monster, jumping through a window, mind you.
Another portal. Yeah.
Changes his life forever. That's deep, dude. Like, that's exactly the sort of stuff we're talking about on this podcast too. Perfect. Do you remember
It's so funny.
what you did when you woke up? Like, did you just
I just remember being very afraid.
yeah,
Scared
out of your mind? You're like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Right. And
Wow.
and knowing the time it was, chances are I had been up for days or asleep for a day or two. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess so. When you're in that state to begin with, yeah.
Oh, so there might have been some not sleeping based on what was going on.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And was there any correlation between you talk about a pack of dogs, but you talk about one dog in particular, the one waiting for you outside your house? Was there any correlation between that dog and this dream wolf?
To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you because I don't remember what the dog outside my house looks like.
You just remember how scary it was.
Yeah.
That's how the brain can work. Yeah.
Was it a big dog though?
I would say it was at least a medium-sized dog.
Okay.
It might have been a pit bull or something muscular.
They're all big when they're chasing you.
Yeah. Or when it's dark, but it was broad daylight.
Well, one of the things that happened is we had an abridged conversation. Mm-hmm. And again, Cisco was very non-committal. Yeah, I have a story. And we're like, and I really did think, oh, this is going to suck. You didn't sound like you had anything. Like, sure, if you guys are doing something out in the garage, I want to be a part of it.
He's very nonchalant. Like, he'll just be like, yeah, whatever. That means he's in.
Right. And then, yeah, we learned that. But then we started to talk about it. And what it reminded me of immediately, we kind of said, okay, let's stop here. Let's actually get the mics out and let's get you here to actually discuss this. Because I mentioned this in episode 1. There's this Ishta Rasha, Ishta Diva theory. It's not I'm coming up with. I'm hoping to expand on it a little bit. But it's always been the way I felt about things. And I'm trying to kind of figure it out. But there's always like, and I know you're if you want to talk about your nationality, you're Mexican, but there's also these real...
It's an assumption on your part, sir.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
because he's from Yuma?
No, that was my understanding.
Sorry, we all know he's Mexican. You already know that.
No, I claim Native American. I'm sorry.
And honestly, you should. I've seen your sister's
I am
DNA
mostly
thing.
Native American.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. And that actually makes so much sense because the piece of it that I wanted to talk about was that there's these Native American, and I actually wrote this because just what little I heard, I was like, because my understanding, we've been friends a while now, is that you're Mexican.
What, just
Wrong
because I was
assumption.
born in Mexico?
I've made some assumptions. We didn't do the Ancestry.com prior to this.
In America, you're from where you're born.
Yeah, exactly. But I did. But then when you said this, I was like, but why does this fit into the mold of the Native American kind of ideology, philosophy, worldview so well? What little I heard about it. So I pulled up. I only have pre-notes for my Ishtarasha Ishtadiva thing. This is an episode we're probably going to do a year from now or more, 57 years from now. But it's something I'm very excited about.
Let's
I've been shoveling information into an area. But there's a lot of Native Americans that, the Black Road is kind of flanked by monsters. Wolf of the East and Thunderbird to the West. And I've always been kind of intrigued by this stuff. I think the first time I came across it was Black Elk Speaks. It's a Nyhart book, really cool. But then I found Joseph Campbell has been talking about this as well. But the directionality, and really briefly, I just want to talk about kind of the directions of things. Because we start out with just a shamanism thing from Mircea Eliade, Archaic Techniques of Ecstasy. The dead set out either to the north or to the west. But we also find the conception that the good go up to the sky and the wicked descend underground. Shamanism and ecstasy. And there's also a piece of, if you switch over to Russia for a minute, the Buryat have this thing where the westward, if you're a black shaman, eastward, if you're going to be a white shaman. And that doesn't mean dark or evil. It means, in this context, it means, sometimes you got to go to the upper world to find information. Sometimes you got to go to the lower world. So the shaman just has kind of an expertise of what the ground area is to kind of get things accomplished. So it's not necessarily, and that's kind of where it gets really, this is what I've struggled with, the directionality of things. I'm just trying to figure it out. So I've been reading a lot about it. And go ahead.
I was just going to say maybe you're making it more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves
Yeah, I love to do that.
Because you look at a day, and there's day and there's night.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them isn't good and one of them isn't evil. One of them is just day and one of them is just night.
That is perfect. That is perfect. And that's actually what they're saying with the white and dark for the Buryat. They're saying he goes one way to get answers. He goes into the night to get answers. He goes into the day to get it. It all helps the community. They've just got their expertise. When we bring dualism to it, we bring this good and evil, that seems to be where things get really sideways.
It's like you were talking about our team being the positiva, negativa, what was the terms you were using there?
Yes, positiva, negativa. And the negativa it's basically the esotericist versus the mystic. So I'm the esotericist who's digging in and going through all the details that you cut to the chase, right? I'm sitting here with two via negativa folks who kind of jump to the answer. I like to take every step of the way and get really lost in the details that are the devil's in those, by the way, as it turns out. But you two jump right to the mystical side of it. You jump right to the answer, and I got to give you a lot of credit. I can't do that. I got to go the long way, which is fine for a podcast because we're just trying to figure things out. But I also came across Joseph Campbell's comment, and this is based off of kind of Black Elk Speaks. And he says in the Flight of the Wild Gander, which is the closest he's come to kind of a shamanistic book, Joseph Campbell's the guy that basically inspired George Lucas to do, it was the hero's journey in Star Wars. It was he read those books and he got really excited. But if you want the shamanistic side of Joseph Campbell, Flight of the Wild Gander is the book for you. And he says the Black Road runs north and south and is the good or straight way for the Sioux. The north is purity and the south is the source of life. On the other hand, there's the blue or black road of the Sioux, which runs east and west, and which is the path of error and destruction. He who travels that path, Black Elk has said, is one who is distracted, who is ruled by his senses, and who lives for himself rather than his people. And again, it comes back to some of the other Native American people, and I think the Lakota and the Sioux have this view as well, that the west is the thunderbird and the east is the wolf, and the darkest road is the path of the wolf. The wolf of the east is the Ishtarasha of Ishtarasha, the monster of monsters. Is the thunderbird the higher level of consciousness that you're kind of peeking out into, and the wolf of the east? But it seems like either way you stray on this trail, you meet monsters. You step off the path, you're on the black road. You're not going north-south anymore. And you're going to meet a portal monster, a guardian, that's going to warn you that you're on the wrong path. And it sounds like, and I give you full credit for giving yourself full credit, but it also does sound like this kind of is what happened.
Well, taking into account what you just said, that last encounter when I was walking home and the dog was sitting in front of my house, I was walking north. And taking into account again with what you just said, it makes me really glad that I didn't let it scare me off.
So you were you had to go past the portal guardian. You were heading north and had to go past the portal guardian. Mm-hmm. And then what do you know what window when you had that dream? What side of
I slept with my head facing west and my window was to the east.
So the wolf came through the door from the east.
From the east.
Through the window.
Yes.
Wow. We all know he made the right decision, and we all know that you came across something that you overcame, and it kind of, and that ties into a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. The crossroads is the liminal area where all the monsters are, as he calls it, the thin places, but in the edge is where all the monsters are. And when you're at the edge of a level of consciousness and you can go dark, or this is your moment to get better, that's the crossroads. That's where you meet the devil, if there is a devil. It's also where you meet angels. It's where you meet there's a lot of activity going on down there. And there's some wake-up calls that occur from this. And it sounds like kind of a more archetypal story in some ways than I've heard, which relates to what I'm trying to create an episode about and trying to create. Like I'm actually only preliminary notes here. I'm reading like Rudolf Steiner, who does a lot of Threshold Guardians, and Jeffrey Cohen's, some of his theses about monsters as change and difference. There's a lot of people talking about this, and I thought I was like a little bit more cutting edge until this is a joke Jeremy and I always have. I'm like, I got this, and then he's like, then I'm gonna call him back. Oh wait, there's a book on it. I'm just gonna get it. Can I keep the receipt? But go ahead.
So here's the test for me, if any of that
holds water.
I came around that corner and I saw the dog right away. And for whatever reason, I kept walking towards it. Mostly because, that's where I lived. Huh? I'm just saying that at no point during that walk towards the dog did I ever consider to not keep walking.
The hero's journey. Right. The whole thing we opened this podcast with, the loving, scary things makes you brave or whatever.
Yeah.
Nietzsche, was it?
Yeah, because I was already having issues with dogs. I mean, why didn't I I'm going to go to the store or, just decide that I didn't need to go home then. But for some reason, I had to face that, and I was not going to let that detour me.
And you did it on two states of consciousness, because you did it in the waking world when you actually had a physical dog chasing you, and then you did it in the dream world, which is also porting. It's kind of a hypnopompic, hypnagogic, very common upon waking, upon sleeping, to have these end of the bed, or in this case through the window moments. But those are also kind of portal guardians. So this is kind of ties in. And again, this would have been maybe the perfect episode to have in the future when I figure out what I'm talking about. But I have been kind of hanging around the crossroads a little bit to try to figure some of the stuff out, and it really does tie in. The directionality gets to me because from the Native American side, there's a very similar. I just came across recently, like the Navajo, their view of the world tree, and there's always a serpent and things at the bottom, and there's water, and there's stuff blocking you, and then there's always birds at the top, and you always have to kind of pass through these portal to get where you're going. But there's also north, south, east, west. But the shaman is at the center of the medicine wheel, and he's kind of bursting through the crossroads. Where the cross is where the shaman's sitting, and that's where the world tree comes out, and that's so the directionality. Back to what you said earlier, making it way too complicated than it is. You summed it up. There's things to find in the light, things to find in the dark. It seems like you discovered some stuff. I'll just channel my negativa for a minute, from and the mystic side of it, and you guys just kind of jump to the chase, and you get there a lot quicker. But
I can actually tell you why. When you asked me if I had a story, I was kind of like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And that's because I accepted this being part of my past, and I accepted that there's otherworldly things. Mm-hmm. And I am attuned with their presence sometimes. Mm-hmm. But since I'm not on that path anymore, they do not scare me the way they did. And since I'm not playing with a Ouija board anymore,
right. Yeah, that's a good lesson to learn early. Right
I'm not sticking them poking them with a stick, seeing what they'll do.
Hey, are you in there?
Yeah.
Is anybody around?
I just it doesn't frighten me the way it used to. I'm just more at peace with it. And then the other thing is, when dogs love me now.
Yep.
I can attest to that. Our mascot, Junebug over here, loves this guy.
Yeah, and so I know that I'm not on that path. I don't feel that I'm not on the best path, but
Oh, yeah.
He's not on the black road or the red road. He's on the pink road.
I would say, much like myself, you're heading definitely in the right direction. It's just a very curvy road.
Cisco's a great guy, and I have to say, it's an awesome story. No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't think Jeremy and I would think for a minute anything but great things to say about you. So
I've known this guy a long time. We drove real life taxi cabs together. Yeah. Those things that you don't see anymore.
They used to exist.
They call it Uber now.
Just like there used to be payphones.
I saw a place with 2 payphones right next to each other outside of it the other day in Tucson. Yeah. And I saw it from the side, It's like, oh my God, are there really 2 payphones up there? I walked up. It was just the box. There was no actual phone.
Yeah, they're all
it was literally and it was like, I'm like, why is this here? And suddenly I was like, oh my God, this is decoration now.
Yeah.
It literally like when I finally looked at it right, I was like, oh my God, this is a decoration.
It could be a TARDIS, maybe the old.
Oh man, I should have tried it.
You should have stepped inside. I would like to just kind of bring it back to this consciousness theory thing, and I don't want to make it too complicated. If folks do have ideas more about the directionality, because I came across a lot of I honed in and I am honing in on the directionality of what the spirit world says, and different tribes do have a little bit different say, a little bit different direction. But I thought this one captures it from Roger Walsh's book on shamanism. I'm a big fan of his, and it kind of captures the essence of when we're in our moments in life when we're ready for change. It's kind of a tense situation, and it's in a book about shamanism. Let's check it out, and we'll see if it fits in. Developmental crisis can occur spontaneously as a result of inner forces that compel growth, whether the individual wants it or not. The mind is designed to grow, and the drive powering that growth has been variously described as an actualizing tendency, Carl Rogers, the humanist, individuation urge, Carl Jung, holotropism, Stan Grof, equilibration, Piaget, or eros, Ken Wilber. The result is a dynamic tension between these forces of growth and the seductiveness of stagnation, between the pull of transcendence and the inertia of the familiar. So there's this tension, basically, at these crossroads. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, and if you don't take the hero's journey, if you don't make that next step, there really is. Do you feel like you would have been lost if you didn't change at that moment?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was clearly two paths, and in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. Robert Plant, and
No, things had gotten
Nice
so
Zeppelin
bad.
reference.
I had to swing that in there.
Yeah, things had gotten so bad, I didn't even know who I was anymore. So
I've definitely had those moments. I've had that a few times in my life now. One reasonably recently. And it does feel like it's, in the end, it does almost feel like there was a test at some point where you hit that moment where it's, okay, it's go big or burn,
Right.
And you have to choose, and you got to go big every time when you hit that moment. You got to get over that hump through that portal in the right direction and get it done.
Go big or go home past the dog.
Yeah, there you go. All right. I guess that does it. Anything to add, Cisco? Anything you want to say before we go? You got anything to pitch, plug? No.
Thanks for the beer.
Simple man. That's why we're here. Maz, you want to say something?
This is actually the worst episode to try to do a Mad Kujos, because we normally go to Cisco, but we can't do that to him. We can't give him Mad Kujos.
I wasn't even thinking about it, but now that you say that, we really probably should.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I'm going to do it right here. Okay. This week's winner of the Mad Kujos Award goes to Cisco. Down boy!
Oh, man.
Sorry about that, everybody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we are.
Maz makes me do bad things.
Well,
By telling me not to. That's why I'm the negativa.
Mad Kujos.
Yeah, you didn't get to hear the bumper. We'll play it for you once we get the editing done.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, Cisco. That was brilliant, man. That's a great early interview for us to get right there. It's going to lead us to a lot of things. All right. So there is the creepy tales of Cisco there, man. Some pretty wild stuff, honestly. But Maz has a lot to say about this, so I'm just going to turn it right over to you, my friend.
I think what I'd like to do is start off with just a few related quotes, and then we'll discuss some of what we've seen, here, and heard. Cool. This is from Carl Jung, Autobiography, Memoirs, Dreams, and Reflections, 1961. Then there were crashing in the underbrush, and a gigantic wolfhound with a fearful, gaping jaw burst forth. At the sight of it, the blood froze in my veins. It tore past me, and suddenly I knew. The wild huntsman had commanded it to carry away a human soul. I awoke in deadly terror, and the next morning I received the news of my mother's passing. That is Carl Jung talking about the death of his mother. He had that kind of a prophetic dream, which is why he's always on the edge. He hates being considered a mystic, but he's one of us, whether he likes it or not.
One of us. One of us. One of us.
So essentially, Carl kind of, the wolf has always been associated with these portents.
Yep.
And here's another one, because I feel like this has been such a year of the skin
walker.
We have a Inaldalushi story from Nevada that, again, kind of ties in. This is from 12 People Tell Their Terrifying Encounters with Navajo Skin
Walkers.
And that will be in the show notes as well. It's not safe, of course, being in Nevada. We all assume that my brother had found a scorpion or a rattlesnake, so we all run outside to see my grandmother clutching my little brother and shaking in terror against the side of the house. Standing out in the yard was a large black Great Dane-sized dog. It was staring at my grandmother with an intensity I had never seen before. It looked up at us, gave a little huff, and bounded off. I don't remember if it moved unusually fast or not, but I do remember it had really deep yellow eyes. When my mother asked my grandmother what had happened, she kept repeating, "Inaldalushi has found me." She moved a couple of weeks after that.
Wow.
So other people are stalked by these strange, dark, wolfy beasts.
That's a big dog, Great Dane sized.
And I found one actually way down south in British French Guiana. This is from Legends and Myths of the Aboriginal Indians of British Guiana, 1880. So we're talking about northern South America. From the Legends of the Cawaos, Cawoios, I found the following poem. Spots to show that nightly ranging, so do their sorcerers declare, he into a jaguar changing, could his victim seize and tear, as the werewolf of the east prowls on human flesh to feast. So we've got these,
nice.
I found
Poetry.
These things since I do a lot of reading into this stuff, and Cisco's was a little bit ago, and as I see these related things, I kind of scooped them into a corner. But we kind of, as we were interviewing him, we kind of realized this goes back to a lot of Native American tribes have the Thunderbird as the mystical portal guardian of the West and the Wolf of the East kind of in their lore and in their cosmology. And when you draw these little Axis Mundi, medicine wheelie things, they do tend to have some similarities. And I think that Cisco was surprised as anyone that it was an eastern-facing window.
Yeah. I'm glad he remembered that.
He was at a very dark point in his life. Had he not turned it around, I really believe this. I think the Wolf of the East would have claimed him. And I think he turned it around to his credit, and he is a great guy to this day. He made us dinner last night, as a matter of fact. So
yeah, he did. It was very good. He makes the best homemade salsa, too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Cisco salsa. He should jar that stuff, put it in the stores. It's that good.
Yeah. But I have to give him just a lot of credit for turning his life around. And, he was kind of open to the mythos of this. Yeah. I discussed it with him a little later.
Yeah, it really seemed like it wasn't like he already changed his life, but it was very revelatory for him, this interview, I believe, because the things he heard from us, he was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I think we helped make sense of the story for him, like why it was the symbology that it was and the way it went down and everything like that. Once we finished breaking it down for him, he was like, that makes a lot more sense to me now. You know what I mean?
And if you're wondering,
it's therapy, man. Tell these stories out loud to people that you can have confidence in to, be respectful of you regardless. And it's going to make you feel better. It's going to help you to understand your own story. It's going to help you remember it better. It's going to help you to assuage your fear, whatever it may be. But I swear, you got to tell the story.
Yeah.
The more you don't want to, I think, the more you have to.
It's still odd that old mythologies help people today. I believe that they do. And that's also why I keep coming back to that theme this year when we talk to folks about maybe getting a self-help group and be able to point folks in the right direction and creating a network. Because when people deal with supernatural things, it's a very different category than mental health. They're not prepared for that. They kind of tie it in with different psychotic disorders. They start medications they probably shouldn't. These are more spiritual kind of moments, and they don't know how really to deal with that. So if we have, and some people are dealing with real things like Trent, that it's an energy that was a problematic thing.
Yeah, his buddy still has sleeping problems.
Yeah, so there's folks that are having real encounters and then real physical problems, and there's people having real emotional, depending on what they're running into. And you just look at the astral side of things, all the dream paralysis, UFO abductees, and everything they're going through. I just feel like if there's a way to tie in a network better than we have, I think that could be maybe a project we work on gradually as this project hopefully expands and widens.
I just wish either one of us was any good with social media.
Yeah.
Because then I would say, we should start a group. But I know us, and we're not going to do that effectively.
We could use some help. I mean, emotionally and mental health and all those things we just talked about. And social media.
Well, if anyone out there wants to get in on that project, email us at monsterloretour@gmail.com, and we will be as supportive as possible and helpful as possible in that. But we need someone who actually understands social media to really get something like that rolling, I would think. Yep. I have a couple people maybe I can talk to.
There you go.
Maybe start working on that through season 2. Maybe by season 3 we can have something really rolling.
There you go. I have one last Cisco story. I think it's appropriate. And since it's one of our last interviews, it kind of shows how dedicated we are. And this is a true story. One of these days, the garage door rolls up and Cisco pokes his head in while we're podcasting and goes, "Hey, there's a hot tub party, bunch of gals. We'd be the only guys. You want to go?" Well, man, we got some stuff to do with Bat Squatch today.
We got 2 episodes to finish, man. Sorry.
And if that doesn't tell you all you need to know.
And that is why we are paranerdalists.
Correct. Proof is in the pudding.
We are more dedicated to this podcast and its listeners than we are to anything else in our life these days, which is kind of sad.
Yeah. I did Google naked Bat Squatch pictures later just to kind of, meet it in the middle.
I don't
somewhere.
even want to know what came up when you did that.
I did not do that. Anyway, one last point. This does tie into moving towards kind of an Ishta Raksha, Ishta Diva, Portal Guardian episode that will come out someday, we hope.
Yeah.
And that this is part of that. This is clearly part of that, where we have these guardians that in this paradoxical passage that we all must get through at different times in our life, and it ties into shamanism, and it ties into these mythical moments in our lives, and more to come on that.
Nice. Looking forward to season 2. I'm sure there'll be a lot more along those lines coming from Moz in the future. Huh, Moz? All right, we're getting silly. Let's get out of here. Anything to add or subvert before we go, Moz?
Nope. But thank you, Cisco.
Thank you very much, Cisco. Yes, and we may see him in the studio again as well at some point.
We'll see him near the fridge. There's still more fajitas in there.
I mean, we'll definitely see him in the studio. He might get on the mic again at some point as well.
Yep.
But for now, that's it here. Next week, we will be bringing you our cartoon monster theory compilation episode. It's going to be a very unique thing for us. But it's all of Maz's ancient toon theory segments from season 1 all compiled in a row. I'm really looking forward to hearing that myself. So come back around next week, same MLT time, same MLT channel, and we'll keep on rolling with this Monster Lore Tour. Thanks again for coming. Till next time, have a good one, listener.
You might know Cisco from such podcasts as
this one.
Hi.
And maybe that other one that we might do eventually.
Yeah.